Are you pro-NRA? I suppose that doesn't mean National Reconstruction Act, or that means National Rifle Association. I go back that far, you know. I watched in the parade with the NRA back then in the 30s. That's how old I am. I need Medicare.
I thank you for that question. I am certainly for our Second Amendment. I have had, I think, 3 occasions to vote on measures in the House on gun rights. I have voted for gun rights in each of those 3 occasions where I've had a vote. I support the NRA and its right to be an activist organization on behalf of the Second Amendment. I frankly did not seek the endorsement of the NRA, even though there are many hunting groups and sportsman groups that support me. And I will tell you why briefly. They have a questionnaire, and they make clear, as you fill out the questionnaire, that you have to answer yes to every one of their questions to get their endorsement. So the fact that I voted yes on gun issues was immaterial to the questionnaire. Some of the questions were profoundly offensive. There are questions about, would you allow people that are on the terrorist watch list to own a gun? To me, the answer is easy. It's no. I know people who have been killed by terrorists. Personally, I know people who have been killed. We all know generally from 9/11. I personally have known people killed by terrorism on our homeland, not brave people in Afghanistan and Iraq, Americans going over there. I know people who have been killed by terrorism. The idea that we could be casual in a questionnaire, like the idea that people that we deeply suspect are terrorists owning guns, that's an easy call for me. They shouldn't own a gun. They haven't yet committed an act of terrorism, perhaps, but if the government really truly believes they're terrorists, I don't want that person owning a gun. There were questions on the questionnaire about the sort of weapons. Would you limit any sort of weapon for personal ownership? Yeah, I would limit certain weapons. Handguns, fine. Rifles, fine. Shotguns, fine. Bazookas, not so fine. And the question was very clear. They wanted no limitation on personal ownership of weaponry. That's not my view of what the Second Amendment says. That's not the Supreme Court's view of what the Second Amendment says. It says handguns, yes, but certain sorts of clearly military equipment cannot be owned by civilians. There's a long line of Supreme Court cases that say that. They tell us what the Constitution means. I go with them, not with the NRA. So I did not keep that endorsement, and that was not something I wanted.
I was endorsed by the NRA. I did receive an A on their questionnaire, but Congressman Adler's statement, I had to call them on the question pertaining precisely to terrorists owning weapons, people on the terrorist list. I simply answer it with this. A law-abiding citizen of the United States of America should have the right to carry any weapon they want, to have any weapon they want. It is in the Constitution. We have to uphold that. They took my answer. They accepted my answer. They gave me an A on that questionnaire. Quite frankly, Congressman Adler's rating from the NRA is a D. He says he is supportive of it. I question that just because of that rating. It's something that is a Second Amendment right that we have to stand up for. And I'll do everything I can to allow no further gun legislation to restrict your Second Amendment rights.